Addendum to episode 17.
Ooh, 17.5, version 2.
Yep.
Draft, extra edit
Good.
on top.
Good.
So, from what we talked about dreaming
Yep.
in our previous podcast.
And we talked about it a lot. This is a good, solid 45 minutes of talking about dreaming.
And one of the specific highlights of the podcast was lucid dreaming
Yep.
and meditating in a lucid dream.
Yep.
And we talked about...
You were intrigued by that?
I was intrigued and, a little bit surprised that was even a thing.
Yep.
I'm not even sure if it was possible.
Yeah.
But then...
So I'd only heard about it. I'd never done it myself.
Yep.
And we said, like, if I have a lucid dream, we'll have to do another episode. And we were thinking, like, maybe we'll do another podcast on it.
Yeah, exactly.
3 days later...
I
have a lucid dream, which is only the second one I've ever had, which was very cool. And this one I felt like I earned because the previous one was just like a random one when I was in Mexico. I wasn't thinking about dreaming or trying to do it.
Yep.
So that was really cool that I managed to get it like done. And I actually, this is unconfirmed and probably unconfirmable, but I have a feeling it happened because we talk so much
Well,
about
I was about to say, I wonder if it was the fact that we talked about dreaming in the podcast for whatever it was, 40 odd minutes.
Yeah. So I think about it every now and then, but I don't talk about it for a long time, 45 minutes. So
let's get, tell me this addendum. So I've heard a little bit, but I want to hear the full story, the full gamut.
Yeah. So
how was the prep for it? It was a normal night. You didn't think it was going to be a lucid dream?
No, nothing special. So it was a couple of days ago now. And day was normal. Everything was basically normal how it normally was. Went to bed. And so I did send you a message at, I think it was like 4 a.m.
4 a.m.,
which was when I woke up from the dream. Okay. And I was like, all right, I got to get this down because I'm going to forget the details of it. So Juan wakes up in the morning, he's got this half sleeping.
I think I was already awake. I was at the gym listening to that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so basically there was a whole lot of things that happened before the important part, and so I'll just skip over those.
Yep.
And it basically got to this point where I was in this bathroom just interacting with someone, and it was just like in normal life, I guess, but obviously I didn't have that thinking of, well, why am I back in the high school bathroom when I'm 27 years old and have graduated 10 plus years ago.
Yep.
So as I was leaving the bathroom, I looked in a full wall length mirror, and I was just looking at myself in it, and I had hair, and that was actually the biggest trigger for me, because I was like, that doesn't look right. And it was sort of like a Justin Bieber haircut. It was like brown hair with sort of little spiky bits coming up.
Yeah.
And I just thought,
that's not me.
Didn't I shave my head not too long ago? I don't know. And then that was what was like, oh, you might be in a dream. And so then I did my classic thing, which I've been practicing, which is getting one hand flat, two fingers, and just trying to push it through the palm. And when that happened, it was it was getting closer. And then when I got to this bit, I didn't see them go through. So it wasn't imagine you're watching real life and the fingers just come through. Yeah. It was I guess, do you remember back in the day when TV, SBS or something, would be a bit crap, and you just get the whole television box would sort of just get these wavy lines, and
crackly sort of view on it.
It'd be the whole picture distorted into waves or something like that. And that's what happened to me. My whole vision just went super blurry, different colors and stuff, and I could see my fingers going through, I guess, but it was more the effect of
the distortion.
Everything just changed.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what made me go oh shit, I'm actually in a dream. And I guess the interesting thing from it was I definitely realized I was in it, but I still didn't have full clarity I'd be right now. So it was a realization, and but it wasn't I was able to recall the moment perfectly. And that might just be, maybe I did when I did do it, and I had this clarity, this awakening, I guess. Maybe I just can't remember it perfectly, which could be, try and recall when we were at the gym an hour ago, exactly what happened in
minute by minute or something like that.
Yeah. And because in my dream, it felt like it only lasted a minute and a half of the like being lucid in the dream. Anywho, I walked out and everything basically stayed the same as it was. Like, it was my memory of the high school that I was at. And so I walked through the tuck shop. And yeah, that's when I had like this real weird bit where I was aware I was in a dream, which I guess would make you think like social conventions, social rules and stuff don't really matter. But I had in my head that I, like when I was walking, it was sort of like everything was getting a little bit dimmer. And I thought, and this is like the dream part of where stuff just happens and you accept it. I was like, oh, I must have a shirt over my face. And so I like lifted this shirt off. But then I was in like a high school full of kids walking around with no shirt on. And so I had this simultaneous thing where I was like, are the cops going to come and get me? Yeah, exactly. You know, this is kind of weird. I'm walking around without a shirt on in a high school. But also realizing like, oh, I'm in a dream. I can just imagine I have a shirt right in front of me. And so I did. And then I put a shirt
back on.
So it was like this weird bit where I was lucid, but obviously not 100% like.
Yeah, okay. That's quite interesting. I like the bit about that really you can just imagine a shirt being there and then you can have like that shirt there.
Yeah. So it was, that was interesting. And I guess I was just walking for a little bit, maybe another 10, 20 seconds. And yeah, I didn't really have any thoughts or plans on what I wanted to do. So I just went to like what we were talking about. I was like, oh, yeah, why don't I try meditation? So that was where I guess I like stopped caring, because I was like, you know, how kids sort of sit in circles. I think I just walked into the middle of their circle and sat down. So I sat down, sort of crossed my legs and closed my eyes. And that was when it was really getting hard for me to distinguish like what was reality and what wasn't. And I think that was where the line started to blur from me being lucid to not being lucid.
Yeah, okay.
So when I closed my eyes, I suppose I just tried to listen to the sounds that were around me. I think I tried listening to my own breath as well, but it was really windy apparently, so I couldn't really hear that. And then that's when it just went full like spastic, and I started listening to what these two like 16-year-old girls were saying. And they were just talking about like, oh yeah, my telephone, my cell phone coverage is really good, but when I go to Japan, it's sort of crap. But I found there's this cheap way where you can get it cheaper if you like fly to Vietnam, go through Seoul, and then back into Tokyo. And I just remember thinking like, are you guys idiots? Do you know how much you'd have to pay in flights? Like, it would make no sense for you to do that. So I just got trapped in this like thinking.
Rational Kyrin is in there trying to meditate, and you're like, no, it's tough meditating. This rational conversation is irrational. Yeah.
And so that happened for a little bit, and then some outside sounds woke me up. I think it was my brother going to the toilet. Yeah. And that's what was like got me out of the dream, woke me up fully, and then that's when I sent you the audio.
So you reckon you attempted to meditate, but you didn't really get into any sort of state of meditation?
No. The other thing was when I was attempting to do that, I closed my eyes, and I didn't feel stable at all. It felt like I was on a sort of like a boat rocking back and forth. Like there was no it just felt like I was moving. Yeah, okay. It didn't feel like any stillness or anything with my eyes closed. So interesting experience.
Yeah,
I'm super glad it happened like right afterwards.
Yeah, after we discussed it. Who knows? Maybe you've like started talking about it now. You've shared it a couple of times. Maybe you'll go back and in another week be like, oh, get it even deeper, or be able to experience it.
I was hoping it would happen like these past 2 nights. Actually, no, it was on Thursday, so it was only one night has eclipsed since it actually happened. It's happened. So I didn't have another one last night, but yeah, I'm hoping like doing it once will sort of be on like the path. Like, you know, you do a handstand one time, and there still might be a bit of time until you get like another decent one. Yeah. But then they should start coming
a little bit more regularly.
Yeah. So that's what I'm sort of hoping will happen. Who knows? But
we'll see.
That was my addendum.
The addendum to the dreams of episode 17. Very good. Thanks for sharing, Kyrin.
Yeah, no worries.